older UGC creator is a great way for anyone over 40 to make a living as a content creator. Last year, my first as a full-time UGC creator, I made over $55,000. But that road to riches was full of potholes, screw-ups, and so many mistakes. So to make your journey as an older UGC creator easier, here are 20 harsh realities that I wish I knew when I was starting. And number 11, cost me so much money. When I found UGC, I was thrilled that there was something I could do as an older creator, make content, and make good money. But I had a lot of concerns. Was I good on camera? Was anyone gonna hire me? I thought about taking weeks to improve my ability to be comfortable on camera. I felt like I needed 10 UGC examples, but we also needed money. So I stopped that plan, just made all my videos, warts and all, and started uploading them. And within a few days, I started getting brand deals. And nobody said, you're not good on camera. It was, here, make this video for us. So that's lesson number 1. There is never a best time to start. That fear of starting prevents so many older creators from starting. If you push through that, you will be ahead of 99% of older creators who just can't start. During my first few weeks of being a UGC creator, I thought that every video I needed to do had to be crazy, and clever, and funny. So that's what all of them were. They were funny, they were wild, and that got me noticed by a lot of people. Brands started sending me brand deals where they would include examples, and the directions were to just make this video, but with your personality. And I was kind of offended. It was like, I'm the witty, crazy, funny guy. Why do you want me to just redo something? But I did it, and it was so relaxing. I realized I had more energy to tackle the really important projects where they really wanted my personality and skill set. So lesson number 2, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If the brand wants something similar to what they've already done, just do it. Not everything you need to do needs to go in your portfolio or be shown to other brands. Take those easy wins and save your creative strengths for the big projects. That's where the big money comes in. When I started UGC, I was driven to get a retainer. This is when you get an agreement with a brand to make a certain amount of videos for them per month. I was contacted by a big player in the men's grooming industry and felt that this was my shot. Vader fell over. I gotta fix him. I was like, yes, this is it. So I followed the brief, I made the examples, and I waited for my inevitable retainer deal to arrive. So after a few weeks, I checked in with the ad executive and asked how it was going, and learned that I was not being considered for that retainer. The reason were my videos were not performing well, and I was honestly crushed. But I realized there's only so much you can do as a creator. There are a lot of things that are out of your control. The script, the ad spend, just the overall strategy. So lesson number 3 is don't let bombs burn you out. It happens, but it doesn't mean you're a bad creator. As long as you keep creating, you will get work. Early on, I was set on making the funniest UGC videos possible. It was funny bit after funny bit after funny bit. And after a while, it became hard to think of clever stuff all the way through. And I was starting to let my funny get in the way of the product. So one day I was scrolling through Twitter looking for some inspiration, and somebody posted a comment about what they believe is the most important part of their UGC video. It completely changed my approach to making UGC videos. I stopped trying to make the video funny all the way through and focused on the most important part, which is the beginning, which is lesson number 4, focus on your hooks. Use all your creative energy there, because if someone doesn't find your hook interesting, they're not gonna watch the rest of the video. Experiment with visual hooks, crazy images, or just shocking things. Some good oral in those first few seconds. I've done everything from pour coffee on myself to partial frontal nudity. The viewers absolutely love that. One of the things that every content creator needs to master is being confident on camera. Talking to the lens isn't natural, but after a while, you just become used to it. Talking to you right now is second nature to me. But one day I had a lot of stuff to film and I just wasn't feeling good. But I thought, hey, I can push through this. George Clooney's worked through the flu. I set up the camera, I did the takes, I sat down to watch the editing. It was so bad. I took a day and I just reshot everything. You can't fake a good performance. So lesson number 5, don't film when you're not at your best. Seriously, I've waited a week to film this video because I had the flu last week. Refilming takes up so much time. You're better off just waiting until you feel better and getting a good performance done. One of the fun things you can do with UGC is get your family involved. They're like, hey, can your kids or wife be in this? And you can get everything from mini keyboards to, we've got like an outdoor fireplace thing, which was kind of neat. This one time I got a brief that was a good amount of money, but they wanted my wife to be in it. And in the script, she needed to like hug me or something. I knew that wasn't her thing, but it was a good amount of money. So I thought I could ask her to do it like just this once so we can get this money. I positioned it as something that she could use for a vacation or for her F1 tickets. Well, as you can probably imagine, that did not work out well. I never said I was somebody who understood how to read the room. So it created some tension for a few days, and I obviously ended up declining the job, and I just don't ask her for anything anymore. So lesson number 6 is don't pressure your family to be in your videos. Present them with a project they might want to do. If they decline, just move on. Don't try to convince them it's a losing battle, and you will sleep on the couch. If you're interested in becoming a UGC creator, I've got a free Kickstarter guide that includes the kind of videos that you should be making for your UGC portfolio. Visit this link or click on the link in the description. It's my free gift to you. I love giving free stuff. A few weeks into my career, I saw people on Twitter asking for references for somebody who could edit their UGC videos. And this confused me. I'm like, you're a creator. Why don't you just do it yourself? I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I can see the hesitancy towards giving up something that you work on. And I wasn't interested in this, so I moved on with my career. Writing, filming, editing, writing, filming, editing. I felt that the brand would be disappointed in my work if they knew that I wasn't the one editing. But I was editing a ton, and I found that it was taking away from what I really love to do, which is write. So I reached out to someone, got an editing recommendation, and gave the editor a shot. I submitted the video, and the brand said nothing about the editing. It didn't matter who edited it. And more importantly, I had more time to write with the editing being handled by somebody else. So lesson number 7 is outsource your editing sooner rather than later. You'll free up the time to do more of the stuff you love, like writing or pitching or drinking hot chocolate. It's more marshmallows than hot chocolate at this point. Oh, you thought outsourcing the editing was a happy ending, didn't you? Well, no. In addition to my primary editor, I reached out to another editor. I was looking for somebody to handle my long-form content. This editor had worked with other creators, so I thought I'd give him a shot. But as the project's coming in, I realized I was spending a lot of my time leaving notes about the editing. I thought, well, it's me. I need to be more clear in my directions, which I was. And the same thing kept happening. But I blew it off and I blame myself. Like, I need to be clear about my instructions. And it was around the same time that I was starting to ramp up production on the YouTube channel right here. I was really rushing to get a YouTube video done. I wrote it, I set it up, I shot it, I filmed the entire thing. Now, to be clear, I did not look at the footage after I filmed it. I was in such a rush to get it edited that I sent it out without looking at it. So when I got the edit back, I was surprised to see that the entire thing was blurry and completely out of focus. And the editor edited that way. I didn't get a text or a heads up or like, hey, did you know this entire thing was blurry? I was shocked he didn't say anything, and he didn't mind editing a completely blurry video. So I paid him for his work, shelved the video, and I haven't used him since. Which brings me to lesson number 8, be ruthless with your outsourcing. It's not fun to be the reason that somebody loses income, but I was losing so much time working with this editor. If it's not working out, thank them, pay them, and be on your way. When I was looking into making my first UGC examples, I had some decisions to make. There were lots of different styles, everything from skits to talking to myself in the car. So I picked 6 different ones, including a style that I didn't really want to do, but it was so popular, I thought that you had to have it. I thought it was the thing, so I made the video and I put it in my portfolio. When people started finding me, they were always mentioning the videos that featured me on camera or I was being funny. Nobody talked about this one video that I didn't want to make. Over time, I realized that brands are reaching out to you for your personality and your on-camera presence. Yes, great looking B-roll is great, but it's not what's gonna make you the money. And the video that I made that never got mentioned, an unboxing video. So that's lesson number 9. Don't do faceless videos. A portfolio of faceless examples will not get you work. Brands want to see your smiling face and how relatable you are to older people. They don't care how you unbox something. One of the things that interested me in doing UGC were all these videos by younger creators where they were saying, here's how I made 10K doing UGC. Now that's a number that's gonna get you interested. So in my first few months, I was doing okay, making between $3,000 and $5,000. But there were times I was like, am I not good enough to be making 10K a month doing this? So I thought that the way to get there was to take on more brand deals. And that's what I did. I went a month where I essentially did not refuse any brand deal that came my way. And these were brand deals like 40 B-roll shots, each one from 2 different angles for $600. Now that's good money, but not for the amount of work that was required. And at the end of the month, I had only made just over $7,000, nowhere near that 10K. And the big problem was I was so burnt out of doing UGC. I felt that I was just making videos for the sake of making videos that didn't need my personality, and I just hated it. So lesson number 10, big money equals big burnout. Go for the big dollars, but know it's gonna cost you in time, energy, and enthusiasm. Maybe the younger kids under 40 have the energy for this, but I don't, and I don't know if you will either. Number 11, this cost me so much money. As a UGC creator, brands reach out to you with different needs. Sometimes they want 1 video, sometimes they want 3 with 2 additional hooks. I started getting deals where brands just wanted me to film B-roll. I didn't need to be in it, and I didn't need to do any editing. I thought this was sweet. All filming, no editing, just $150? Huge mistake. When you sign one of those deals, you are giving brands the rights to footage where they can turn around and make dozens of videos. And it's less than the cost of 1 UGC video. At the same time, I learned that other creators were charging brands 50% of their base rate for B-roll. They were getting paid way more than $150 for their B-roll footage. So lesson number 11, don't give away your B-roll. It's valuable and you should charge accordingly. When I started UGC, I was really hesitant about being on Twitter. I was tired of the toxicity. I had already deleted my original account, but it's where a lot of creators were finding work. So I set up a new account, eased into following people, but I wasn't interacting much. Over time, I started learning a lot of tips and a lot of information. People were telling me about bad agencies. This is where I found that tip about why I needed to be charging more for B-roll. My family doesn't really understand my day-to-day work, so it was great to find a community of people who were going through the same things that I was. Also, there were people recommending me for jobs. I found people that were creative, they were encouraging. I created my little gripe group of which I just send random complaints to through DMs. It's very therapeutic. So lesson number 12 is you need a community. You will get so much further ahead in your career if you surround yourself and be involved with people who are doing the same thing as you. It's not uncommon to see people pursuing their dream brands. These are companies and products that they just absolutely love because they're part of their normal life. And they're always commenting, I scored my dream brand collab with so-and-so. And I thought that, well, if everybody else is doing it, why can't I? So I went after a cruise line and I went after the makers of the NHL jerseys. And how many did I land? None. And it made me feel very resentful. I poured all this emotional energy into these brands that I love and they didn't respond, and that took a lot of fun out of it. Meanwhile, I was working with brands that I was not a fan of and absolutely loving the process. They loved my work, they let me be creative, and that's a good thing. So lesson number 13, forget about trying to work with dream brands. You can go after them and they reject you and that's not fun, or you get the collab and they turn into being a nightmare client, and that hurts too. Just stick with people who appreciate your talents. That's what it's all about. One of the smartest things you can do as a creator is called batch film. This means you film multiple videos in the same location. It saves you loads of time and you can work faster. But you need to be strategic about this because some locations won't work at specific times of the day. There's sometimes you think, oh, I'll just film everything in the living room, and you get to the living room and there is no light. While on the other hand, the dining room has perfect lighting conditions. So lesson number 14, know the lighting in your house. Figure out where the best lighting is in each of the rooms in your house and plan your days around those times. Understanding this saves you so much time and makes you more efficient. As I mentioned, batch filming is a great opportunity to get a lot of videos done in one setting. I would do this constantly. I'd set up my lights, my camera, get the background all set up, and it would take forever. It didn't matter if I was memorizing or reading the teleprompter line by line. What should have been easy was taking such a long time. I was stumbling over my words and it was just a train wreck. I didn't really know what was wrong. It's like I knew these scripts. I wrote these scripts. But then I realized I wasn't reading the scripts up until the second that I hit record. So I started adding time into my process to read the scripts out loud before I go on camera. Sometimes I do that in front of the camera. Sometimes I walk around the house or sit on the couch ouch. And then my performances got so much better because the words were already fresh in my mind. So lesson number 15 is rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. It's not a surprise when you read it, and it makes the entire process so much better. For someone that's been an Adobe user forever, I was really hesitant to try CapCut. There's no way I'd switch over, right? But CapCut has completely changed the way I work. It's got essential things like the chroma keying and those essential captions that you like to see, which creates a problem. You see, when I went to CapCut, I was overwhelmed by the amount of captions that were available. I tried different captions on each video, I'd watch the entire thing, I'd make some adjustments, and then I'd go back and try a whole bunch of new captions on that same video. And before I know it, I was spending more time finding out the captions than editing the videos. They're important, but are they important enough for you needed to try each and every one? No. So lesson number 16 is pick 3 caption styles you like and only use those. At the end of the day, the captions aren't the star of your video, you are. For a lot of creators, UGC is the first time they've ever taken on any kind of freelance project. It's a new role and one that those of us that were in the 9-to-5 world just really weren't familiar with. We think it's, oh, I just need to make videos and people send me money. But then you realize you need an invoicing system to get paid. You need a bank account for that money to come in. Get software that helps you write contracts so you don't get screwed over. I started looking for freelancers and hired a virtual assistant. Soon what I thought was just a job making videos became so much bigger, and I was not prepared for that. It wasn't until I saw somebody comment how they treated themselves as a business that my entire outlook changed. So that's lesson number 17. Treat yourself like a business. Think of yourself as someone that provides a service rather than a pirate jumping from project to project. I go over some other business tips in my UGC Kickstarter for boomers and Gen Xers. You can download that here at this link or just click on it in the description down below. It is completely free. It's helped a lot of other creators learn UGC. I wanted to do the same for you. For my first few weeks as a UGC creator, I was cranking out project after project. My inbox was full, my Twitter DMs were just packed. I was doing so well and I felt that this would never end. But then there was a week where I didn't get any emails, which was fine. And then there was another week, and that's when the panic set in. The self-doubt came rushing back. You're not good enough for this. Nobody will ever hire you. You are a complete fluke. I remember saying no to a job that was a lot of work for not a lot of money and feeling that I had just said no to the last job I was ever going to get. And then I got $600 for one video. So I was fine. So lesson number 18, prepare for slow times. Make sure you understand that the inbox is not always going to be popping off and you have something to do in the meantime while those jobs are not coming in. You're working on personal branding, you're creating a digital product, maybe you are just taking a damn break. I should take my own advice for that one. The great thing about being an older UGC creator is the time flexibility. You're free of the traditional 9-to-5 job restraints. You want to work 3 hours one day and then 13 the next? Go for it. My first few months of UGC were me taking on every single project that came my way. I was working weekends because I had so much work, but as you may imagine, that was unsustainable. Taking a whole Tuesday off just resulted in more work spread around the week. Plus, I was starting to write scripts at 7 a.m., which is not when my brain was awake, and my work was suffering because I had to spend more time rewriting those bad scripts when I should have just, that was just dumb. So lesson number 19, set working hours. Having a dedicated work time sets a nice rhythm. I work 8 to 4 Monday through Friday. It keeps me energized and I still find room for all of the projects and time to relax. And finally, lesson number 20. This was the hardest one for me to learn, and I believe other older creators are going to struggle the same way that I did. When I started out, I was getting a lot of random deals, like realtors and electric flossers. They were fine, but a part of me felt like a fraud because these were products that I'd never used. Why should I be talking about them? I mean, I know it's advertising, so that's to be expected, but I just didn't feel comfortable. But I realized the fraud wasn't about the activities. It was about that I wasn't pretending to be my age and really embrace that. I was caught up in trying to be someone that I wasn't age-wise. But when a company reached out to me and they needed somebody who was 50 years old with a bad back, I was like, that is me. Bring it on. And since then, I've lived lesson number 20, embrace your age. Brands want older creators, people your age. So don't try to be somebody that you're not. Your relatable experience, your looks, your age, that makes you valuable and relatable. Those are 20 lessons you can use in your UGC career. But another thing you really need to know is how to score brand deals. So watch this video to learn how to score brand deals as an older UGC creator.